Hey everyone, welcome back to Reformatted Mind. I'm Reformatted Dan, and this channel is all about helping people with ADHD live better, feel better, and finally break out of the patterns that keep us stuck. Today's topic is one that almost no one talks about, but every ADHD brain feels. That constant sense that you're never really winning, no matter how hard you try. Not because you're failing, but because the way you measure success has been quietly working against you. If you've ever felt like you're always behind, like your progress never feels like progress, or like your effort never translates into feeling good about yourself, this video is going to hit close to home. Because sometimes the problem isn't what you're doing, it's the definition of winning you're using. And once you see it, it changes everything. So let's get into it. Somewhere along the way, most of us picked up this belief that a win only counts if it's big, something impressive, something worth posting about, something that makes you feel like you finally did something with your life. But honestly, that belief is wrecking us, especially if you've got ADHD. Because the reality is those big wins are rare. And if success only happens when we land one of those, then we're stuck in this endless loop of feeling behind, like we're never doing enough, like we're always falling short of the thing that actually matters. When was the last time you had one of those big milestone moments? Think about it. If it's been a while, or if it feels like you're always chasing something just out of reach, this might be why. We're defining the win wrong. And the more unreachable we make it, the more miserable we feel for not getting there. We don't just set the bar high, we launch it into orbit. Then we beat ourselves up for not touching the stars. But who decided that's what winning looks like? Who said it only counts if it's all or nothing? What if we lowered the bar and still called it a win? Before we go on, I want to share something quickly, because if this idea is hitting a little too close to home, you should know there's a place where we work through this in a much deeper, more structured way. It's called the ADHD Thrive Method, and it's where I teach the core frameworks that finally help me stop feeling behind in life and start building real momentum. If you've been stuck in patterns like beating yourself up for not doing enough, setting huge goals you can't stick to, feeling guilty when life doesn't go how you pictured, or constantly slipping into that "why can't I just get it together" loop, this course was designed to break that cycle. It's a step-by-step way of understanding your ADHD brain so you can work with it instead of fighting it. And honestly, it's everything I wish someone had taught me decades ago. So, if you're ready to stop feeling like you're always losing and finally build a life that feels doable, sustainable, and actually good to live in, check out the ADHD Thrive Method. You can learn about it at reformattedmind.com or by clicking the link in the description. When there's something you need to do, or especially something you don't want to do, the brain only cares about one thing: getting it done. Not getting it done well, not finding a good rhythm, not making it manageable, just done, gone, behind you. And that's where the trouble starts. That mindset kicks off a whole pattern we don't even realize we're falling into. We make the goal too big, too heavy, too unrealistic, all in the name of getting it over with. It's like when you're starving and you load your plate with way too much food. You're not thinking about pacing yourself, you're just reacting to the discomfort. Sometimes we do that out of excitement. A new idea sounds fun and we underestimate how long it'll take. But honestly, more often, it's avoidance. The task sucks, so we want it gone. So we make this overly aggressive plan. I'll knock it out in one day. And we feel good for about 5 minutes. Then the dread creeps in. Here's a real example to show you exactly what I mean. Back in junior high, my daughter once had 14 assignments due over 10 days. She asked me to help her make a plan. Her solution? I'll do 3 or 4 a day. And I loved her optimism. She has ADHD like I do, but I could see the trap forming right in front of her. Because on paper, that kind of plan looks reasonable. It feels efficient. It feels like you're being responsible, but it's actually a setup. Every morning she'd wake up staring down a mountain of work, already overwhelmed before she even started. And the overwhelm would lead to avoidance. And the avoidance would lead to late nights, stress, and panic as she tried to force everything in at the last minute. We all do this over and over. We think we're reducing the pain by powering through fast, but what we're really doing is compressing the discomfort into an impossible window, turning pressure into panic. And here's the truth. We think we're doing it to help ourselves, but it never works, because we're still defining the win as being done. And when the win only comes at the end, that's when we lose. The solution wasn't finishing fast, it was to avoid the dread. So I told her something I wish someone had told me a long time ago. Stop trying to finish as fast as possible. That's not the goal. The goal is to get through it without making yourself miserable. We don't need to hustle our way out of the pain. We need to protect ourselves from it. So we dropped her plan down to 2 lessons per day. That was enough to stay on track, but not so much that it felt like punishment. And what do you know? She finished 3 days early. No breakdowns, no late nights, no dread spiral. That's the power of redefining the win. The win wasn't, I finished 14 assignments in 3 days. The win was, I showed up every day, did what I could, and didn't make myself suffer to do it. That's what we're missing. Wins don't have to be dramatic. They just have to feel doable. And watching her go through that, it made something click for me in a way it never had before. Because her struggle wasn't unique. It was the exact same pattern I had lived with my entire life. That instinct to power through, to just get it over with, to measure the win by finishing instead of functioning. That mindset is exactly what breaks us. And once I saw it in her, I started seeing it everywhere. In myself, in other people with ADHD, in anyone trying to outrun discomfort instead of working with it. Around that same time, I heard something that finally locked this idea into place. It wasn't about homework or productivity at all. It was from a Navy SEAL talking about surviving Hell Week. And weirdly enough, what he said explained our entire problem better than anything I had ever heard. In the podcast, he described what Hell Week actually feels like. 6 days of freezing water, no sleep, and nonstop punishment. It's designed to break almost everyone, and it does. But what stood out wasn't the physical part. It was how the brain reacts to the suffering on that scale. You'd think people who make it through are the strongest or the toughest, but he said that wasn't it. The real difference was mental. Because the moment your brain starts thinking about the entire week, while you're already freezing, exhausted, and running on nothing, you break. Your mind just can't handle the scale of it, and it shuts down. So he had to find a way around that. Instead of thinking about 7 days of pain and trying to get to the end, he zoomed all the way in. He didn't think about the week. He didn't even think about the day. He thought about 4-hour blocks, because every 4 hours, no matter what, they got a 15-minute break and a meal. And that became the only thing he focused on. Just make it to the next break. Just get through the next 4 hours, then reassess. He'd literally count it down in his head. Okay, 3 more hours, 2 more, 1 more. And when the break came, he'd reset. All right, just 4 more hours. It still sucked, and it didn't magically become easy, but it became doable. And when that break finally came, it felt like a small win, because in that moment, it was. He wasn't chasing the finish line. He was chasing doable victories. And honestly, that's exactly what we need too. So this whole thing, breaking it down, shrinking the scope, focusing on what actually is doable, it's not about getting to the finish line faster. It's about getting your brain to cooperate with you long enough to take the next step. Because motivation doesn't come from logic, it comes from emotion. And if your brain is swimming in dread, it's not going to help you. It's going to sabotage you. That's why redefining a win matters so much. If the only win you'll accept is all done, then you're teaching your brain to panic every time you're not close to the end. But if you start giving yourself credit for each small step, each moment you showed up and didn't spiral, then your brain starts associating effort with reward, and that changes everything. So yeah, maybe you didn't finish everything today, but did you take a step without crushing yourself? Did you protect your energy instead of burning it to the ground? Did you keep going without letting the dread win? Then you won. Redefining a win doesn't mean settling. It means surviving with your sanity intact. And for those of us with ADHD, that's not just a better way to live. It might be the only way we ever really get things done. I hope this video helped you or gave you something to think about, and I'd love to keep sharing more with you. Please take a second to like the video and subscribe. It really does help more people with ADHD find this channel and realize they're not alone. And if you've got a story, a question, or even just a thought, share it in the comments. You never know how your words might help someone else see things in a new way. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.